Greetings, my friends, and before the main campaign starts, we're just going to have a tactical and strategic overview here of where the campaign stands. We haven't actually had one for quite a while. As you can see, a lot has changed since the last one. Indeed, the campaign has sort of evolved massively since our last sort of overview, as it were. As you can see here from this sort of larger sort of scope of the tactical and strategic map here, the sort of the campaign map, we have finally brought the great swathe, the sort of central moving into sort of western, eastern Europe under our control. So we now fully control all cities, all regions are with what you can see within, from Stuttgart all the way to Warsaw and indeed into Königsberg is now controlled by the United States. And we have a firm grip upon these territories. And indeed, if we do move just northwards here, you can see we control Sweden, and as far down south as Zagreb. So we do have a firm grip, even as I say, with this sort of toe poke into the Balkans here, into sort of Yugoslavia and that kind of area here. That's what we're looking to sort of expand in the future. But we're going to have a look now where we stand and also what possible moves we can make here now for the great expanse of this campaign. Easily the main foe, the main enemy we faced has been Germany, and it has been a heck of a fight. I mean, it has been a brutal fight. I mean, it's just been absolutely knee deep in the mud and the blood. And those of you who've been here from the start, my friends, will recognise how vicious this campaign has been with Germany. I mean, they have not given an inch, and it has taken a huge sacrifice, both in terms of the number of men lost, but also economically it has put a huge strain on the US economy. Now, fortunately, we have got the homeland, which is secure and has just been absolutely the bedrock, the core, the anchor from which we are able to move into Europe and expand where we are now at the moment. But we have, as you can see here, finally got peace momentarily with Germany. And as you can see, we've got this line that runs here from sort of Zagreb all the way up to the Alps here as our line where we've brought sort of a halt to the German offensive. Now, they were starting to bring up a number of reinforcements from the Balkans, from Yugoslavia, and move them up into sort of Hungary, as it were. We even moved in the Marine Corps because we were going to bring a real fight to them, to really push them back. Luckily, they accepted the peace offer. The council said, Mala, you need to just offer them peace and see what happens. And they accepted the peace. I think they had also probably had enough of the fight. I mean, we had ground them down. They have been effectively pushed back into this sort of pocket, as you can see here. And I believe they're still fighting the Ottomans. And we ourselves are still at war with the Ottomans. But we've sort of managed to back them into this sort of small pocket they've gained here. And for that reason, we are sort of held off. It's given us a chance, as you can see here, to just put a string of armies here, lining the front line here, so that if they push against us, they are going to come up against a stern defence. We've also, as you can see here, down in Zagreb in Croatia here, we have a pocket here, this very powerful sort of group here of forces that we earmarked to move into Sarajevo, Bosnia, and then sort of leapfrog into Belgrade. So Belgrade and Sarajevo were going to be our sort of primary targets before we signed the peace agreement with them. Now, there's not anything to say that the Germans won't regain their strength, regain their sort of wind, as it were, and strike back at us again. There's got every possibility that might happen. But this time we are prepared. This time we have given ourselves a chance to really give them a sound thrashing if they come for us. And with that in mind, we've got this anvil here. The anvil are these armies here. Now, they can, of course, stand toe-to-toe with the Germans if need be, but the hammer is going to be this group here. Because if we break these forces here, if we collapse this sort of left flank of theirs, this western flank of the Germans, it effectively just narrows them down to a very, very thin corridor of clouds of Transylvania, Bulgaria and Moldavia. That's all they would have left in what is, for the best part of Europe. So that would effectively collapse the German Empire in its entirety. Now they do have a number of territories within the sort of the very, very sort of the hinterlands of Russia. We even fought them to a standstill in the Don here, effectively giving that to France and sort of giving control to France for a tactical reason, which was to sort of bring that end to the fighting, because we needed the forces to be pulled out. We couldn't support them anymore. The sort of the sheer magnitude of getting forces in from thousands of miles away to sort of support the fighting on the Don, which is the absolute extremities of our sort of limits. Even our war machine couldn't stretch that far, and that is saying something. So you can imagine how difficult it was to hold the Don for when we did. That had to come to an end, but we had to give it to somebody that the Austrians couldn't take off, or were at least friendly with. They're not going to sort of jump on that and take the Don, and then have that access to the Don and the ability then to move forces in and out. They can, of course, still move forces through the Russian territory because they do have an agreement with the Russians. However, these territories are not going to provide the same sort of problem that these will to us. And indeed, with the final collapse and fall of Munich, the last great production centre for the Germans fell into our hands, and it effectively closed off the ability of the Germans to sort of mass produce the armies. Now they still have the capacity, I'm not sure how, but they have the capacity to still produce significant troop numbers. That's why we've committed a series of very powerful armies here to defence. Now I know some of the council are pushing for us to sit with a preemptive strike against the Germans and really take the fight to them and sort of finally bring the end of Germany and indeed the war, freeing up the troops for our battle with the Russians and indeed the future war with Spain. And again, we'll come on to Spain later. We also have Venice as well here. Now the Venetians haven't been a problem yet. However, if we move west, we've got Venice here, and they have been sort of dipping their toe into the fight here, particularly in and around Munich. As you can see here, they've hit the minefield here in Tyrol, and they've also got a force here. Now nothing we should be alarmed at, because we still have some powerful forces in and around Munich. Munich cannot fall, but as you can see, they're starting to sort of stretch their sort of capacity here of what they can push, where they can take us to. Now of course we will not be standing for any nonsense from the Venetians, but by the same token, we can't, in all good consciousness, move this army away. We could move this force here, this grouping here, this very powerful force we've got here. We've built up this army group effectively, and we could hit the Venetians here, but they are very well dug in, and I think it would require probably more than these troops to actually dig the Venetians out of their sort of bastion here of Venice. So again, we have to be calculated here. We can't be throwing the troops away. If we can hold a firm front line here against sort of a push from the south up to the north against Munich, which would be their, of course, would be their ideal target. If they were to move against Vienna, then of course we would dispatch this force by sea, and we would just land and we would take the fight to them. There would just be no doubt about that at all. But they haven't made any move towards Vienna. We could also dispatch forces away from the front line. We could then shorten the front line down a little bit here and move forces in and effectively crush the Venetians. But we don't really want to take that fight just yet. Now, of course, as I said, the situation might change. The council might even call for us to move against Venice preemptively, in which case we will consider that. Of course, the council's advice is, of course, paramount and overrides effectively everything else. But for the moment, as things stand, we have this sort of, dare we say, a repêchement with Venice, where we sort of have this delicate balance between them wanting to attack us, but knowing that if they do attack us, we could absolutely unleash a huge force upon them that would probably stamp them out in one go. But also that our gaze is further south towards the Germans, finally bringing an end to the German menace that has harassed us for so long. Now, of course, we also have this looming war with Spain. Now, I'll put my hands up here. Spain, we actually beat Spain down to one single region. That's all they had left, was one single region left, Spain. And against the advice of the council was saying to me, Mally, you need to destroy Spain utterly. And I, to my detriment, ignored that advice from the council. And this is what we have now. We have a resurgent Spain, a Spain that is an absolute titan. It is a behemoth. Let's not be under any illusion here. The sheer scope and size and magnitude of Spain, it is vast. It is huge. It stretches all the way down to the Atlantic, from Morocco, all the way up to the very, very tip here, right here, into Frankfurt. That is the sheer scale of the Spanish Empire. From one region we left alone, to now encompassing and probably being one of the greatest threats we've ever faced, because of the sheer scope of forces they've put to here. I mean, this is nothing to be sniffed at, my friends. We might be a powerhouse ourselves, and indeed, dare I say, a titan ourselves, but we've got no depth here. There's no depth behind this front line. Look at what the Spanish have in depth. I mean, they've got all these forces here, and look around Paris. I mean, look at Paris. I mean, that is an absolute monstrous defensive force around Paris that would probably require maybe 2 army groups just to break Paris itself. I mean, even Amsterdam is heavily defended. I mean, around Cologne, which is just an absolute bastion here for Spanish forces here. So we have at the council's behest, moved forces in from Denmark. And this line, as you can see here, this line running all the way down from Hanover, all the way down here, probably to Vorarlberg here, but more important, probably Stuttgart. So I'd say from Hanover to Stuttgart, we've sort of managed to push in forces that we've had available. But even then, look at this, it's only scant compared to the Spanish might here. And, you know, we mustn't become where we just think that, well, nothing can stop us, nothing can harm us anymore. If we do that, my friends, then we know for a fact that we will learn a very hard lesson indeed. We've also got this here that needs to be sort of upgraded. We won't do it now within this sort of review here, but in the main campaign we will bring this, because every penny counts, it really does. So that's the Spanish sort of front, as it were. Now Spain really does not like us at all. Now if we have a look at the diplomatic relations here of Spain, minus 335. They're also allies with Russia. They're allies with Sweden. Maybe that's keeping them in check. Maybe they don't want to go against us because they're allies with Sweden, but they are allies with Russia, and that provides. Let me just put it this way, friends. With Spain and Russia being allies, it effectively puts us in between two of the largest forces and largest empires we can possibly face. It is exceptionally, what we've managed to do is extraordinary considering what we've been up against, but it is far from over. And when we journey to the east here, which has become absolutely the focal point of this campaign for the number of at least 5 years, look what we're up against. Look at Vilnius here. Now, to the start of the sort of the Eastern Campaign fight, which was just thrown upon us because Russia declared war, we had only a few units, a few armies in the area, principally around Warsaw. The Russians threw everything at us. They threw at least 3 or 4 armies in, probably an army group of plus, at us to try and break Białystok here. But we defended it, we've held it. As you can see, we still have the remnants of the fighting here. These armies still haven't replenished and repaired. Even here in Lublin, this army still hasn't. We still have the sort of the outline here of German forces still in Minsk. So this is the way you're up against. But look at the sheer scale. I mean, I can't even put into sort of a scale of the magnitude of the fight that would take place in Vilnius here if we were to launch, or when we launch an attack against the Russians. It'll be a fight, probably the single largest fight of the entire campaign, bar none. That's the scale of the fighting that will take place in Vilnius if and when we move against them. Now, of course, we hold a very strong line now. We've managed to pull in a number of forces here. We've still got a number still being brought in, and sort of they're being put together. So we've got another couple of armies here. We've got to be careful of the Germans here. We've got an army here to sort of guard this flank here on Lublin. We've got another army being put together here just outside Warsaw, which is guarded itself. We will never leave Warsaw unguarded. That is something we cannot do. And of course Königsberg as well, these 2 principal Eastern Front line cities and production centres. There again, fighting has taken place. There again, fighting has taken place. The brutality of the Eastern Front knows no bounds. But at the Council's request, and indeed of their insistence, we took or should I dare I say, we haven't taken, that would be wrong of me to say, we've landed with the purpose of taking Riga, which I think will fall, because as you can see here, we've brought in the Marine Corps. Now, the Marine Corps has been the absolute tip of the spear in this campaign. It has broken everything that we've thrown at it. It has smashed every army, every city has fallen to it, every town has given way to it, every German army that's faced it is absolutely... In fact, if you remember back, my friends, this army here has actually taken 3 Russian army groups and destroyed them all. It took 5 Russian armies to push this one army back. That is the scale of the caliber of these troops in this army, and we've called upon it once again. We've actually pulled it from the Hungarian front, marched it all the way to the ports, and then boarded a ship, no rest, and straight to Riga. That's the scale of what we need here. And to break this Russian front is going to require a steady stream of reinforcements. Now we've got these forces landing here in and around Riga. We're going to push hard, take Riga. We've also moved against Finland here. A bow, I think I'm pronouncing that right. A bow here, which is heavily defended, but we've moved in an army group, at least an army group here, to sort of try and crush in this defence here. And look at the amount of income from there. 22,000 is extraordinary. We've also brought the Russian fleet, and we've brought that in here. We've also collapsed the economy here, the trade here for Russia, and they still have St. Petersburg, which is a target of ours, very, very heavily defended indeed. So again, that's something else we've got to look at here, maybe in the future. But the reason we've landed in Riga, and it was an excellent idea from the council, but even then, the Russians have started moving up these forces here to try and block our path into Vilnius. They know the importance of Vilnius here. If we break this front, it might effectively break the Russians in its entirety. Now, I know that might be a bold statement, but the next stop is going to be Kiev and then Moscow, or even just Moscow itself. But then again, we have to go against Minsk, so it will probably be Vilnius. And we might be able to isolate and bring all of this sort of northern redoubt here of the Russians in our control. But as I was saying, the reason we've landed here, this powerful force here, and we take Riga, is to then sort of strike down around here, and almost, as I said, this hammer and anvil approach, where you sort of almost try and produce a pocket, a sort of a super cani, as it were, where you use this army here and you sort of wrap around at the same time. You strike from this angle in here, moving around from the sort of the south of Gardenius here, and then sort of coming around to the north here of Kaunas, and then striking at multiple fronts here in Vilnius. So effectively you envelop Vilnius, the city, hemming in the forces here, trying to tie down those forces so none of them escape. Now that's the plan. Now of course, not all plans go according to plan. The Germans might intercede. We might even get more additional forces moving in here, as you can see here, from Moscow, which has been sending a copious amount of forces in to try and help hold this. If they hold this flank up for a long time, it might allow these forces to drain away. So again, we have to be absolutely on the ball here when we strike. But again, things might change. We might not expect. Effectively, I would like to take St. Petersburg, because this would anchor this sort of northern redoubt of ours, give us a huge production centre to be able to strike down against Moscow. If Moscow falls and Kiev falls, it effectively is the end of the Russians. They've got Archangel up here, but again, that really wouldn't be our major goal. These 3 cities, Vilnius, Kiev and Moscow, and St. Petersburg, that this four redoubts here, these anchor of the Russians, is what we're after. Now of course they do have Crimea, which is another port. I think they've probably got that open to trade, and I'm not 100% sure. We've taken Damascus and Jerusalem, but again, that's where we stand here. This fight has been absolutely brutal. The one with Spain is going to be monstrous. It really is. We've got Britain as an ally, but Britain has stayed firmly away from anything. It really, really has. It's been an ally in terms of it supported us financially and in terms of leaving us alone to our own devices, but it hasn't actually physically got involved. But we are grateful for that. Now Norway, on the other hand, are another ally of ours, a very staunch ally of ours, and in fact we've enabled them to actually grow quite considerably, very strong here, Norway, and that's good to see. because a strong ally is going to help us in the long run, because it'll keep other forces at bay that might want to strike against us. And of course, using Stockholm and Copenhagen not only to feed the sort of the western front, but also the eastern front as well. It's been a real juggling act, it really has. But again, the council has driven where we are going. The council is the reason where we are is because of the council. It is as simple as that. Now, of course, we move further southwards. We've got Ankara, which has been bogged down in fighting against the Ottomans for as long as I can remember, and it really has been a menace to us, because we're not able, for some reason, to recruit line infantry from Ankara. So we're effectively using and having to rely on pulling the armies back, replenishing them, sending them. But now we're going to make a concerted move against them. So we're moving against the army in Konya. We're also sending an army up here to move against Erzurum here. We are going to start now to remove these Ottoman armies away from Ankara and bring the capacity of Ankara up to where it needs to be, but also to remove the menace of the Ottomans away from this region, and then indeed probably aim for Armenia and Georgia at the same time and bring us into the rear of Dagestan, which we're at war at. We're also at war with the Persians, which is another titanic battle in the Middle East here. We're also at war with Afghanistan, and we're also at war with the Mughal Empire. So we've also got another tinderbox here in the Middle East, which is, effectively going to erupt. If one day we've got another. Look at this here, ceramics factory. It also needs to be upgraded, which we will see to when we get to the actual campaign proper. Again, bringing in. I wonder how much that's going to bring in terms of. Oh, look at that! That's a very nice regional wealth growth there. But as you can see, we've got a lot to do. We mustn't neglect the Middle East, because effectively that is going to one day just explode into life. We're not going to be ready for it. So we're going to have to continue getting the forces from Ankara to clear all of these forces. We could probably send some forces down into Baghdad and Damascus then to help out there. So again, this triumvirate here of cities is going to be absolutely crucial to us. Egypt, of course, is a major trade port now. We're starting to grow that quite nicely. And of course, we also have Germany also has Corsica as well, which is when we've got Patras here. And Greece is under a little bit of trouble there, but we've got Patras, which has been a real mainstay of ours. But my friends, that we've also got here the Barbary States, which will go against eventually, but France have got Algiers. But that is where we stand at the moment. Of course, we're at peace with the Italian states, and we're at war with Sicily, but we do have them hemmed in here, so they're not going anywhere very soon. We've managed to effectively keep them in. That's why you see a lot of their forces starting to sort of mutiny and move away. We've cut off their economy. Look at that, 20,000. Absolutely fantastic. So that, my friends, is sort of the overview, a brief overview of where we stand at the moment. Of course, all of your advice, all of your strategic concerns, your tactical concerns, your tactical and strategic advice, your hints, your tips, everything is all fed in here. Keep them coming, please, my friends, because you have driven this campaign more than you could possibly know. I'd like to thank all of you for your wonderful support. And the next time you'll see me now, my friends, will be in the campaign proper. And I will see you then. Bye for now. Greetings and welcome to episode 144 of my Empire Total War Darth Mod USA campaign. And this, my friends, how we left it last time, where we are on the verge here, my friends, of either bringing Vilnius under full siege or one of the largest battles we've ever seen in this campaign, bar none. But as you can probably have seen, hopefully from the tactical analysis before we started proper here, we have a huge amount to do, but the first thing we're going to do, my friend, is end this turn here. Let's get things moving here. We've moved into Finland and Riga. We now can't do any more. We've got a good bank here as well. Although, if I do remember correctly, we do have a number of regions that do need, or one or two areas that do need to be upgraded, which we didn't quite do last time. I know there's a pottery here. What will that bring in? Ceramics, 1,125. That'll be excellent. We've got to absolutely squeeze every single penny we can out of these lands. And I believe there's another region as well that we did dismantle some of the universities and convert them into more of a an appropriate economic building, as it were, but I can't quite see it here at the moment. But I'm assuming it is around here somewhere, but we will find it perhaps at a later date. There it is. Got it, my friends. There it is. Ironworks, workshop. Excellent. Look at that. Plus 900 regional wealth. And not even at full capacity either. And we might just upgrade. Now, to be honest with you, that 10,000 is not really going to do us much good here. We don't have any linked here to anything. I think, yes, we're at maximum capacity here. But let's end the turn here. Let's see what Russia's response will be here. We've got our spies in situ here, just keeping an eye on things. Let's end the turn. Really important here what we're doing. We're also sending a number of our gentlemen who we no longer need in the universities just to do that spying for us. We've got Britain here, who haven't really taken an active part in any battles. Genoa. Oh, we've got France here, but they seem to have built quite a strong series of armies here. Hopefully I'm going to be worrying about them in the future. But we'll just keep an eye on them just in case. They haven't moved against Spain. It would be good if they moved against Spain, but I think Spain might have something to say about that. Germany, what will they up to now? For the moment we've got quite a quiet front with Germany, but that could explode into life at any moment. Oh, they're starting to build up some forces here within the Balkans. We've just got to keep our eyes peeled here. We've also got Naples, which thankfully we have blockaded almost to. Hopefully it's going to bring them down quite drastically. Afghanistan. I think now we've got the Ottoman Empire once again moving against us, which is we've got to deal with these forces. We really do. They're becoming a menace now. So I think we will deal with some of these armies here. Spain, of course, here in Milan, but they've held on to the sort of northern tip here of. Oh, look at this. They're starting to send now additional forces. This is why we've got the spy here. Keeping an eye on the movements here of the armies is crucial. Wait a minute. Why is that? Would you look at that? That really is right in the balance there. But we need to take this. We need to hold on to what we've got here. Excuse me, my friends. We really have taken a bit of a beating this year. Let's take the fight. Yes, of course. Now we've destroyed that there. The steamship and... Oh, we'll definitely take these instead of the money. Ready to the fleet. And we've gotten rid of a very powerful Russian force here. We could even possibly take what they've just done. Look at that. Now that'll put them on the back foot. They've lost more trade there. But what will they do in response? What can they do in response? We've effectively hemmed them in. But we mustn't become complacent here. Persia, who we are at war with, and have looking to assault Baghdad, no doubt. Maybe, yeah, they're going to hit some of our outer structures here, which is absolutely fine. Oh, look at that. They're combining with the Ottomans as well now. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see some kind of mass assault here on Baghdad. Spain becoming... Oh, look at the armies of Spain have got. That is quite frightening. Sweden, we are picking up armies. Yes, look at that. Oh, we're moving against Britain. Well. Excuse me, my friends. And they're blockading Britain as well. That's going to hurt the income of ourselves and Britain. Greece, Norway, who are an ally of ours. So now can we move against Riga at last? We've got the Marine Corps in here as well, but do we use the Marine Corps to sort of batter the door in here? That's absolutely fine. We are going to start dealing with these gentlemen. And to that end, I think we'll just move this force here, which has already removed a force from Izmir port. As you can see here, I think we'll move them down to here. Ready to assault into Anatolia. And also we've got another force that's going to be moving into... take on these. Now that's quite a comprehensive force. That's quite a powerful force there. We mustn't underestimate the sheer magnitude of this force here. But we do have our own armies in situ here to deal with it. And we're going to sort of push back here. We've got, look at that. Now then, we've got the damage here, which we are going to replenish and repair. 127,000, sir. That's a lot of money we've got coming in here. Look at that, 91,000. Good grief. But I think we're going to dispense with this army here as well. We're going to chase them down. I know we can move into to Armenia, but what we need to do is destroy the armies loitering around here. We won't just move in just yet. We've got other plans. Let's quickly check what we have here. Oh, look at that. Now we've got some forces now starting to mobilise here, sir. I think we just might raid this line here. That's more like it. Let's start taking some of the money here from our enemies. Now this fleet here, still look at that, starting quite nicely to come together. Got ourselves an admiral for this fleet. And also increase. Oh, look at that! We've still got some more heavy first rates and some more as well. We have now the money, the economy that can do that. Excellent, still 109,000 left. Denmark, Syria, Bavaria, also Ceylon. Lots of that in the Baltic here as well. The fleets really are starting now to gather some pace here. Let's convert into an admiral. That's a beautiful, indefatigable, easily for me to say. Let's get some more heavy first rates. Again, our naval power has to be increased at the behest of the council as well. Many of the council are saying, Mali, you need to increase your naval power. Look at that. Norway's starting to sort of really stretch its legs here. Now, of course, we could retreat down to Visby here, which we do have available. I think we will. That's what we'll do with these fleets here. We'll just keep them. Actually, let's just move them into here. Let's really bring this fleet here together. We've got a powerful fleet here which we can use to block.
Ready and waiting.
Pamu.
Aye, sir. Awaiting further orders. Orders. Orders, Captain.
That's more like it. Got 91,000, but still, we are blockading. We are hitting Russia incredibly hard where it hurts in the pocket here. Now, what else do we have here? Brandenburg, which we did need to start doing. We're looking to the council saying, Mali, you need to use all the production centres you've got here to start increasing your troop recruitment here, which we're going to start to do. So we're going to increase the armies here because we do need to send more to the sort of the Spanish border. Because look at Spain, it's absolutely rampant, sir. Oh my goodness me, look at that army there. That is, my goodness me, look at that. That's a pure cavalry army. They really are incredibly powerful, Spain, and to this we have to respond. Got Brandenburg Gate here. Let's bring line infantry, and also we might have some sharpshooters, but we'll have some cuirassiers, and also some 24-pounders. Let's start putting these armies into place here. Some garrison guards. We'll have one of these gentlemen. I think we'll have some engineers as well. I do like the engineers. How many have we got? 5 of 6. We can get another one. Oh, we can't from here, alas. Blunderbuss shotgunners I prefer for defence more than anything. I'm going to start really ramping up our production here of troops. Cuirassiers. There's a lot of cuirassiers there which we could probably send to the front. Unless we use this as a sort of backbone for an army, I think we might do that. Also Vienna, we shall start to increase Pandors, but no. Okay, another army here in Vienna. Also Munich, which is much closer to Spain, of course. Let's get these guns. And some more line infantry. Oh, there it is there. Iron workshop, and there as well. Steam cloth powered mill, look at that. Just laying down our credentials here. Denmark is also going to see an increase in troop numbers. Although they're not of the finest calibre in terms of their echelons, they are still highly... Oh, it's ready a guard, sir. comes some cuirassiers. Indeed, Sweden as well, just to help us with the Russian redoubt. Line infantry here, and 24 pounder of foot, and also of howitzers. And also, this game, going to keep that going. I know we've spent a good chunk of money here, but we really have to invest in our armies here. I know we've got quite a few armies lying around, but we need to, if we're going to move, we need to move hard and fast into Russia and expand incredibly quickly. Also, we want to reinforce this line here. Look at that. We want to reinforce this line here, and also definitely reinforce the Spanish line. It's still quite weak compared, especially here in the Hanoverian section, or sector, should I say. Look at that. That's got no defense against an incoming Spanish attack at all. Stuttgart is well defended, and it's got some depth behind it as well, but not Hanover at all. So that's going to be really important that we do get that motivated there. That's excellent here. Königsberg again. Let's get these troop numbers up so we can just have that defence in depth, and also there's just the tactical numbers. Let's just move past here and just see what the Russians potentially have here.
Moving.
Yeah, look at that. They've got a jeepers creepers balls of fire. They are able to bring in masses of numbers here. These troops here could be in trouble. We've got to really punch hard here. We've got these forces down here as well, thankfully. Nothing else we can produce or use here. Of course, we do have Vienna, which we are going to use to increase our forces down here in Hungary, because I've got a feeling that the peace with the Germans will last only a finite amount of time. Of course, Ceylon has also been besieged, so we do need to actually relieve this force here, and to that end I think we're going to send a powerful fleet in to deal with this. We're not going to be messing about here at all.
Take ready.
There it is. There's the fleet that's going to deal with the problem, the Ceylon problem, should we say.
Ready and waiting.
I think, oh look at that. I think we'll wait for these to be ready, and we'll send in a full naval task force into the subcontinent, and I think we'll deal some damage to the Persians and indeed to the Mughal Empire. Just let them know we're about.
Officer on deck.
As a steamship. I think we just leave these gentlemen here. We will be dealing with the Ottomans in due course, but let's just deal with Riga at the moment. Let's just make sure we've got everything sorted here as well. We have indeed. Confident Admiral. Some of these generals are unfortunately passing away.
Sir. Yes, sir.
More generals will be needed.
Yes. Ready for order.
Here as well. Excuse any noise, my friends, but probably guess who that might be. Wait, what the blazes? Oh, our spy has passed away. So we've lost that ability here to spy down in here. But we do have a gentleman here who we are going to send down into here to replace. We need to keep an eye on what's moving in and out of the Crimea.
I am resting.
Brest-Litovsk might be nice, but we get feeling this. My goodness me, that would be a joy. Now, let's first things first. Let's take a move against. I think we'll just use. Excuse me, friends. I think we'll use this army here to. No, I think the. What do we have here?
Sir.
That's probably the force we're going to use here to bring them. We want to keep the Marines intact.
Sir.
So that end, let's move against Riga here.
They're trapped.
Oh, look at that! Let's demand their surrender. Surrender refused. We shall move in against them, my friends, right now. This is going to be a battle where we just show the Russians what we're made of here, what they've got to face. But as you can see, they're moving in significant forces into the sort of Vilnius theatre. It's going to be a tough challenge ahead of us. It really is. We've got to potentially looks like we've got to move more forces in to deal with them, which we shall do if that's what it requires. We're using all the production centres we've got now to their maximum capacity. We shall not yield. We've taken the fight, or should we say the Russians have started the fight. We shall end it, sir. We shall end it. Now, let's see what's ahead of us. Oh, we're going to be assaulting a star fort, a full star fort here. One with all the additional defences added as well. But we do outnumber them. That's absolutely the most important factor here. And it's a bright, clear day. So we've got good visibility. And the topography of the landscape here. Oh, look at that. Perfect for guns here. Perfect for guns. I know the guns can shoot, don't need that elevation, but to be able to fire into the fort would be excellent, especially if you can be able to put it quite close to the front lines here. I think we will wrap around here, so we'll have a frontal assault and also two side assaults here. We've also got the cavalry just waiting to move in as well. We will have, I think we'll have the cannon facing up front. Right, let's move the forces we need here. I think we'll assault. The frontal assault will be made by the sort of the elite troop, as it were, here, the Fusiliers, the 24th Foot Guards, and also the 22nd and the 11th Foot Guards here. Of course, we have two cuirassiers. So let's start putting the troops. We've got plenty of camouflage as well here, which is excellent to see. I think we'll put 4 regiments on the left flank here. We can try and break this fort quickly and efficiently as well. Look at that now. They are not hidden. Now they are hidden, so that's a good composition of forces ready to assault there. They have no idea they're there. Can't see them at all. There's that. So again, our left flank assault force ready to move. We've got these here. Actually, I prefer to have in the sort of the vanguard of the assault. We do have a number of forces here. They might even come out towards us, so we'll keep some, maybe 3 regiments back. Now let's have 4 regiments for the right flank attack. Can we put... Oh, we could probably move towards the trees here. What we'd like to do is try and hide these in this forested area here. Indeed. But they are not. Now they are. Are they hidden there as well? Indeed, they are all hidden. Yes, indeed. Ready to move into that left or that right flank. Their left. Now I think for the frontal assault armies, we'll hide them in this outcrop here. Another 4 regiments for the frontal assault here once we've cleared that initial. These are not hidden here. Now they are hidden, and they're not hidden either. Will they be hidden here? No, they won't. Here? No. Now they are, sir. That's the frontal. That's the front. Look at that. Ready to move in just in when that. We've overpowered them with the fire. We haven't got much fire support. Should be enough to do some damage at least. You try and maybe break them. General up here, back on the hill here, and we've got our cavalry, which we'll just keep in reserve here. One on the right, let's leave them in the open here, so they can move down this channel here, and one on the left. And there's every chance they might move out against us here. Now we've got cuirassiers as well here, so again we'll just put them on the flank here. We'll keep, gentlemen. Thank you. We'll have 3 regiments here, which we'll just set up in defence. Make sure we're not caught on the hop. And we've also got this regiment here. Perhaps they might come out towards us if they see that we don't have the numbers lined up against them. We might be able to bring them out. But we have set some good traps here. Let's begin, my friends. Oh, look at that! Now they've got a good spread here of forces. thunder. Do they have mortar? No mortar at all. I think we might assault this off the bat here. What do they have here? Provincial Armed Citizenry. Oh, there's a hand mortar company. That's a brute. I think we might try and assault here. Try and catch him on the hop here. And also the same here, we're going to try and move around here. Got to prepare ourselves ready for this assault. Riga will be ours. To that end we will send cavalry around as well. So that when we open up those gates, the cavalry can pour through. Same here. We're going to push hard. Move it, gentlemen. That's a glorious sight, sir. Probably could have done with additional forces here, to be honest with you, in terms of the mortar and the artillery. Now we're going to push hard, sir. Move, gentlemen. We want Riga before nightfall. Let's get up on the walls. Let's take it on the walls, lads. Square! Square, lads! Set fair to meet them. Let's give time, we'll buy time now to get up on the wall. got them stretched now. We've got them stretched. They've pulled forces off the wall. Now it's time to move. Go on then, sir. Winning slightly? I don't think so. Yes, we've got it. We're in there. Oh, what a shot, sir, by the mortars. In the buildings, that's in the buildings. Move, gentlemen. On the parade ground, move. Into the rats. We've caught them, trapped them on the outside of this. Fusiliers. Into them, lads. Into them. Don't give up here, lads. Get in hand to hand. Don't dawdle, sir. Don't dawdle. Let's control the area. Move it, gentlemen. Move. Sneaks there, very crafty indeed, sir. Didn't stand a chance. Didn't stand a chance. We don't want anybody just loitering. Oh, gentlemen, prepare for the final assault. Oh, Jen, why are you... Jen? Look at this, absolutely caught it off beautifully. There's assault into the teeth of the enemy. Let's do this. All forces. Oh, look at that. We've absolutely mowed them down here. Got them, sir. Look at this, it's a bloodbath. Let's get the cavalry. Cavalry out of the way here. Move. I'm gonna hem them in now and utterly destroy them. Let's get up there. Let's get up there, lads. Send up 2 regiments. Let's clear the fortification. Look at this, it's a bloodbath, sir. Come through the walls. Yes, look at that. We've done it, my friends. Riga has fallen to US forces, as it should be. Look at that, we lost 509, lost everything. We've completely and utterly eviscerated them. Look at that. Riga is now under US control. Straight away, this army is going to be brought up to full strength. At minimal cost. That is a wonder.
Yes,
I
sir.
think we are going to move up the Marines here to the border.
Troops.
And also this force as well, just to move up. Just do
Any
some
further orders?
really make our
At the ready.
and also this force here as well. But moving in behind here, just by here as well.
Forward!
Let's completely seal this off so we make sure we defend the flank here so they can't move in. We've got a huge amount of forces moving in here. That is actually very concerning how much they're able to move in huge forces here, the Russians, at will. Now, yes, we've got Riga, my my friends. Another +1 to morale. Oh, +5 infantry movement range and +2 to command when leading an infantry unit. Excellent as always. +1 to command to land. Even better. How long before we see Spain moving against us here? Especially what they're seeing. Now, we do need to take and move against our bow here. What do they've got in here? They've got...
Yes, sir.
Oh, look at that. That's
Sir. Your humble servant. Sir.
what we will do is we'll just move these forces together here.
Onward.
Now they do have this force on the outside as well, but it won't actually engage here. But we will have to clear these forces from Finland. We can't have anything behind us at all. We have no idea what's in the hinterland here either. But once we capture Finland, it will open up a good chunk of this force. But however, we will have Russian forces on the land here. St. Petersburg. They seem to be sending forces from St. Petersburg as well. Which is a little bit concerning to say the least. Moscow is quite clearly where they're sending these forces from, and also look at this here. They've still got quite a bit about them, and Kiev is quite clearly also going to be a place where they're going to send considerable reinforcements. We have no idea what's going on here at all, not a clue. But I think we probably need to move in here. And this force is going to do it, especially with the Marine here.
Prepare the troops for battle.
Now, demand their surrender. They might surrender. Yes! Wow, we've actually technically won the campaign. Holy smokes! But we are still going to carry on, my friends, because remember that is one of the things you need to do to sort of win the campaign as a word in title, is to get a certain number of states. But we are actually going to continue. We're going to continue with full world domination. Everything is going to be ours. So we've won it. Technically we've won it, but theoretically we haven't won it in terms of it ending. So we're going to carry on here, my friends. Now that is extraordinary that we've actually managed to take Finland without a shot being fired. Mind you, there could be, although there might, I'm not sure if there will be, but there could be possibly a rebellion here, but we can crush that quite quickly here. So we've got to deal with this force here as well. That force is still going to be loitering around here. Now this port needs to be replenished and replaced here. That's being done so as well. Probably don't need... How is this? Actually, they like that a lot actually, which is good. Religious unrest is only 1 here. So I can make a huge amount of difference. We'll probably make that into more of a economical hub for ourselves, because we've got this here which is actually going to keep many of the populace under control, as it were. Okay, we can't... there it is, yeah, +5 to happiness. So that there itself is going to keep us quite comfortable there. Now we have to move against this Russian force here as well. But ideally, I'd like to try and move against some of these Ottoman forces here and deal with these once and for all. Especially here. I think we'll actually move against this Konya force here as well. Look at that, we can replenish this here, 4,000. That's a good chunk of change right there. We are also going to be trying chasing down this force here. Not going to allow them to get away with it any longer. And also we do want to move in... What's this fleet here? That's a powerful fleet there. We do need to move in a powerful fleet. Right, let's deal with the Ottomans here.
Our nation rules the sea.
Second rate ship of the line, firepower. I think we'll add that one to this fleet here. You can run, but you can't hide. You've ridden yourself straight into there. Now, we can there's for Greece, but we've just got to deal with the Ottomans here. We've helped the Greeks here. Look at that, they're taking an absolute pounding here. Now let's move this back to a port.
Set sail. Jump to it and look lively.
Now let's get them replenished and repaired here. Only going to cost us a few shillings. The storm clouds gather, my friends. We do need to deal with this force here, but that's a lot of guns. My goodness me, that's a scary amount of guns. We're going to need something who's got plenty of cavalry.
Sir.
That force is perfect. Look at that. We're bringing plenty of cavalry, but plenty of our own guns to the battle as well. We've got plenty of cuirassiers, but ideally we need something that's got a little bit of terms of ability. This is with lancers as well, and plenty of our own cavalry is going to deal with theirs, and we've got plenty of our own artillery as well. We'd have to be highly aggressive there. But I think, my friends, that's going to be it for this particular episode. I think we'll end the episode with moving against this last Russian force here. With this force here.
Citizens, fight! We shall triumph!
We've got plenty here in reserve. We can more than outmatch, but look at the number of guns they've got. That is quite scary here. They've got a lot of cavalry, but we do have a good combination of our own artillery. And also plenty of our own cavalry. Nothing to match their artillery, which is just insanity, to be honest with you. The whole army, it's almost an artillery army, but we're going to have to push in very, very fast to close the gap on them here. They've got a field marshal. Well, I'll be. But my friends, I'm going to end this episode right here. I hope you've enjoyed it, my friends. It has been sort of the first stepping stone on our move against the Russians here. Again, as always, my friends, I hope you've had a good Christmas and a good new year. Hope all of you are safe and well. And as always, please keep your comments coming down below. Every single comment, friend, helps in more ways than you possibly know, my friends. It really, really does. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this as always. Keep those comments coming, those advice, our strategies. They will always, they shape and mould this campaign more than you can possibly know, my friends. But anyway, whatever you do, my friends, please be safe. Until next time, bye for now.